A teen girl, desperate for a job to help her struggling family, was laughed at for wearing second-hand clothes. "We don't hire your kind," the manager sneered. But what no one saw coming was that the same girl would one day stand in front of the entire school, dressed in honor cords, as the valedictorian. And her speech, it would expose everything. Alyssa wasn't born into much. Her mom worked 2 jobs, night shift janitor and early morning cashier. Her dad, he wasn't around. Most days, Alyssa came home to an empty house and microwave leftovers. But even in the chaos, she studied. Not because anyone told her to, but because she wanted to. She wanted out. It was junior year when things got tight. Her mom had a health scare, and suddenly, their grocery money became prescription money. Alyssa started skipping lunch to help stretch the food stamps. She decided to get a part-time job. After school, she printed 10 copies of her resume, borrowed a wrinkled button-up shirt from her neighbor, and patched up her shoes with clear tape. She had no car, so she walked 2 miles to the local mall. The store. Lux Me, a trendy clothing boutique all her classmates raved about. As soon as she walked in, the air changed. The manager, a woman named Tosha, looked her up and down like she had dirt on her face. "Hi, I saw the sign outside. I was wondering if you were still accepting," Alyssa began. Tosha cut her off with a smirk. "We are, but this job is about image, sweetie." Alyssa smiled nervously, holding out her resume. "I may not look the part, but I promise I work hard and I." Tosha didn't take it. She turned to one of the other workers and laughed loud enough for Alyssa to hear. "She thinks we're running a charity," she said. Then she turned back. "We're looking for someone who fits our aesthetic. Maybe try down the hall at the food court." Humiliated, Alyssa mumbled, "Okay," backed away, and left. Her resume still clenched in her hand. She cried behind the building before walking home. But the tears didn't last long. Because that day didn't break her. It woke something up. She stopped trying to impress people who didn't see her worth. She poured herself into books, volunteered at the library, took on tutoring after school. She aced her exams, not for college, for herself. She wore the same 2 thrifted outfits on rotation and didn't care if people whispered. They didn't know the fire she was building behind her silence. By senior year, Alyssa had become the quiet storm of the school. Always present. Always prepared. She scored a 4.0 GPA and was elected class vice president. Not because she was popular, but because her classmates respected her grind. When it came time to select the valedictorian, it wasn't even close. Alyssa didn't cry when they told her. She just nodded and smiled. Because she knew this was bigger than just a speech. This was her moment. Graduation was held in the town's rented event center. Big stage, spotlights, chairs lined with gold bows. Lux Me, that same store, was sponsoring part of the event. They were setting up a pop-up booth at the entrance. Tosha, the manager, stood there in her designer heels, handing out goodie bags. Alyssa walked in wearing a borrowed graduation gown, her cap clutched in her hand, and a bright blue thrifted dress underneath. It wasn't fancy, but she wore it like royalty. Tosha didn't even recognize her. Just handed her a Lux Me bag with a fake smile and turned to the next guest. Alyssa stepped onto the stage with confidence. The auditorium quieted. She looked out at her classmates, her teachers, and then spotted Tosha at the back, laughing with one of the parents. Still not recognizing her. Then she began. "Some of us were born with closets full of clothes. Others, like me, had to make do with 2 shirts and prayer. I remember walking into a store, hoping to find a job, not for pocket money, but because my mother was choosing between dinner and medicine. That day, I wasn't hired. I was dismissed for not looking expensive enough. But instead of giving up, I went home and opened a book. And tonight, while I don't have designer heels or a brand new car, I have something money can't buy, knowledge and dignity." The room was silent. Tosha looked up, then froze. Her eyes locked with Alyssa's. Recognition hit like a slap. Alyssa smiled. To the girl out there who feels like she's not enough because she can't afford what others can, don't change to fit their idea of worth. Build your own. Because one day, they'll be clapping for you, and they won't even know they once looked down on you. The crowd erupted. Tosha turned and walked out. That summer, Alyssa was offered a full ride to college, the first in her family. The school newspaper printed her speech. Local businesses offered her internships. One of them, Luxem's competitor. And as for Tosha, well, let's just say, the Luxme store shut down the next spring. A few customer complaints about bias hiring had quietly gone viral after someone shared Alyssa's story. Alyssa didn't post it. She didn't have to. The truth had a way of finding light. 3 years later, Alyssa walked through that same mall. She was visiting home from college. A young girl, maybe 15, ran up to her from a bookstore. "You're the girl from the graduation speech, right?" she said. Alyssa smiled. "That's me. You made me want to start reading again. I used to be scared to speak up too. But now I'm in debate club." Alyssa's eyes softened. "That's how it starts," she said. "One voice. One stand. People will judge you by what you wear, what you earn, where you come from. Let them. Then go become something so powerful, they'll have to clap for you, whether they recognize you or not. Because dignity doesn't wear designer. And greatness doesn't need permission."